I'm Sonia, a personal brand and style coach. My journey began in the corporate world and through lived experiences has led me where I am today. I've walked in those uncomfortable shoes, faced the same challenges and questioned my path to professional success while simultaneously navigating my personal style journey and the challenges that each decade brings. I wholeheartedly believe in the fusion of personal brand and style strategy. My mission here is to provide you with practical, actionable strategies and lived experiences to help you unlock your next level of success through the power of personal brand and style. Let's get started. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Style and Strategy podcast. Today, as promised last week, I am going to be covering off on some Black Friday, Cyber Monday, also known as BFC hints and tips and tricks in this podcast episode. So if you haven't already been bombarded in your inbox around early Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales and discounts and so forth, then you may not be signed up to a lot of those brands. But if you've walked into any store of late, all around the place, you would see that the early sales have happened. And that's also recognition of the current climate we're in at the moment. You know, retail is struggling a little bit and we're seeing those sales happen earlier. So I'm coming at it from this side to make sure you're going to be able to maximize the sales that are out there from a variety of perspectives, whether you are purchasing for others or if you are doing so for yourself. So, when you think about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, most of us who have been around the traps for a while usually have that popped in the diary. And the reason for that is that if you are looking to get ahead of that last minute Christmas shopping, Black Friday, Cyber Monday is normally the time to be able to wrap everything up and get those lists in order, especially if you are doing a bit of gift giving and so forth over the Christmas period. And if you can get all your gifts at that time, normally then it does mean you've ticked off that list and it's a little bit less stressful for you. So that's normally what I like to try to do. So that way all the gift giving is kind of done. I'm a bit slow this year, but I have to get myself into gear so I don't miss out on some of those great deals that are out there this time of year. Which to note, and if you don't watch some of the sales as closely as I do, what you are seeing at the moment is actually some sales as good as both end of financial year sales as well as normally, what was the Boxing Day sales and so forth. You're actually seeing all of that really pulled forward a lot earlier than during the actual Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. What you will find is most brands, I'm not saying all, but what we've seen historically is that there will be a further discount or a further special purely for that particular day only or over that 4-day period. And so just keep an eye out for that is probably one of my big tips as well. Okay, so if I start to shift in thinking about your wardrobe and your style for the season, you've now spent a couple of, or maybe a month or so over the spring season, starting to get a feel for actually, I think I might be missing A, B, and C from my wardrobe, or I might need to add something in just to take you through the next few months of summer. So if you looking at that, and really here in Australia and Asia and so forth, it's about to get quite warm. And so especially if you are a busy professional, perhaps you're in the office or maybe you've got client meetings and so forth, trying to get that professional balance as well as the comfort and staying cool, as I've covered off in some previous episodes, it becomes really important. And what starts to become quite evident is when you start reaching in the wardrobe and going, oh, hang on, I don't quite have what I need for this next season. So, for those of you who are taking some time off, I'm sure that you are counting down the minutes and the days as we speak. And you're probably looking forward to getting into your really summer wardrobe and that very resort vibe wardrobe as well. I know I always love that when you get that downtime feeling and it's bringing out those relaxed dresses and shorts and that real casual feel, because it just brings that whole relaxed movement to place. So, when you are actually looking at optimizing your wardrobe for the season, one of the first things that I would recommend you do is sit back and have a bit of a look at what you've noticed has been a bit of gap for you. Perhaps something that has popped up a number of times that you've thought either A, I'm wearing this a lot, so there might be a gap in your wardrobe that you need to actually look to fill. Second tip I would have is actually start to think about leveraging your personal brand moment. So, as I'm calling it. So, when we talk about our personal brand, you know that I'm talking about things like your reputation, what it is that represents you, what it is about your values, and so forth. And I've done a few episodes diving into that a little bit more. But during this period of time, it's a really great opportunity to, again, sit down and take a look at, is it time for a shift in this summer season for your personal brand? Is it an opportunity for you to do a little bit of testing and learning? So, seeing that, is there a style? Is there a look? Is there something different that you've been wanting to try and that now might be that perfect time to get in with the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales and have a look at picking out one of those pieces to add into your wardrobe, right? So you're really looking at going, well, how could I use Black Friday, Cyber Monday as an opportunity to really refresh and refine your style with more intention? So think about it. At this time of year, you're probably doing maybe a little bit more networking. You might have some Christmas parties coming up, more catch ups and networking events, that type of thing. So have a think about, can you potentially dial up your style and give it a little bit of a refresh? Because remembering that style isn't just about the clothes that you've got. I guess I would describe it as your unspoken introduction, right? So let's make sure that it's saying the things that you want it to say and take the opportunity to test and learn and find that for you. So here, I guess what I'm calling your Black Friday, Cyber Monday toolkit. So the first thing being, as I touched on a little bit earlier, time to start to create a little bit of a strategic shopping list. I want you to start to identify the gaps in your wardrobe. So, do you maybe need that sleeveless blazer, maybe, or vest of some sort to create that structure, but it's still cool enough to wear in summer so that you've got that structure for presentations and so forth? Maybe it's a short sleeve blazer that you're thinking, you know what, I want to give that a go. Two, do you need maybe some shoes that bridge that professional versus comfort mix? Think versatility and quality. I know that there's some really great sales on at the moment when it comes to some of those pieces. Can you find something that'll cross the bridge between summer all the way through winter with a pair of stockings, perhaps? So maybe just jump in that wardrobe, do a quick audit, do a quick edit before going out and shopping. So look at really what's missing in your wardrobe that could make your mornings a little bit easier and continue to give you that confidence when you're having to walk into, whether that's at networking events, maybe it's the boardroom, whatever that might be. The second tip around using Black Friday, Cyber Monday to your advantage is start to focus a little bit on some of those investment pieces perhaps that you've had your eye on. So, tips for really looking at those timeless pieces, the ones that will be in rotation from now to, goodness, a few years from now. So, those high quality pieces over some of those trend driven pieces. So, looks for items that would really elevate what I describe as your core wardrobe. So, that might be some neutral colors in your color palette. It might be you've seen some tailored summer suits that are really up your domain, or the pieces that I absolutely invest in at this time of year is the premium accessories. I always love a beautiful piece of jewelry. And if there are some premium accessories or standout pieces, now is the time to really invest in those as well. So, really look at it might be so like I said, accessories specifically for me is jewelry. But if you perhaps have some handbags that are looking a little bit worn, that you're thinking, you know what, it's actually time that I invested into a new tote, perhaps, that can carry my laptop. Perhaps it's a new backpack that is actually a little bit more elevated, that'll carry everything for me back and forth, especially if you're working in the office a couple of days a week. And, it can really then give you that chance to look and go, well, how do I then reinforce my personal brand by using a particular accessory? So it might be thinking about the color of those, and that really, again, reinforcing, who you are and what you stand for. Another area where you might find unexpected deals, but again, is probably one of my favorite things to do because it's often overlooked, and that is undergarments. So, can I say this on a careers podcast, career transition and style and brand podcast? Well, I'm going to say it anyway, right? Because it's really important. So, when I come to a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, it is absolutely when I will go and have a look and go, right, where can I stock up on those undergarments? Because normally you will find them at around about that 40 to 50% off. So now is the absolute time for those pieces that you love. Now, whether you love very simple undergarments that just do the job and are really comfortable, or whether you're looking for those really special pieces, maybe with a touch of lace or silk, then I would say now is the time to go and get that. So if I've got any of my male listeners dropping in to the podcast today, I'll be saying now's the time to be looking at some gift giving if it's going to be some undergarments in that space. So that's probably one of those overlooked areas. And then, of course, your layering essentials as well. So when I'm talking about layering essentials, what I'm referring to, it could be your singlets, those really basic pieces, singlets, long sleeve tops, that type of thing, t-shirts, anything that's a bit of a layering piece. And what you might also find is some knitwear. And I know many of us hate to shop for alternative seasons at this time of year, but if you do have the opportunity, or you see something that perhaps isn't a cashmere, which would normally be more pricey, now would be the time to grab it, that you'll have it already in winter as well. And then finally, it could be also things like skincare products. Now is a great time to be able to grab those as well. Separate from style and things that you'd put on your body, one of my other favorites is usually it's any sort of notebooks, that type of thing that I love. I would always be looking at that. And of course, tech. So, I'm a big fan of tech and tech products. So this is the time that I'm usually stocking up where I've found that I've been missing something in that space as well. So the fourth tip around here that I would give you is really just the power of using this time as an opportunity for a mini refresh, right? Because a mini refresh to your brand and your style can really start to ignite some further confidence in the way that you're presenting yourself. Because the transformation that comes about, whether you're building a new brand, you're going into a new career transition, or it's even just that spring, summer feeling of, you know what, it's time for a change. Taking those smaller steps to a larger transformation is what it's really all about, because each step that you take can make all the difference, because you're just getting one step closer to whatever that future end state looks like for you. And perhaps it's the opportunity to revise what that looks like. So, even if you think of it as every pair of new statement shoes, it might be that upgrade to that handbag or that new jacket. It really starts to change how you feel about when you're stepping into any room at all. So finally, I want you to be able to make online shopping work for you. So some of us as busy professionals, I know that you don't have time to necessarily go in store and check out exactly what's out there, etc. So you may be looking at your inbox if you're getting all the deals come through there, or you might be just Googling some of your favorite brands as well. So things like your discount alerts, you're having your wish lists already ready. So, when you've been online shopping or you're browsing and perhaps you've got an account of some sort, make sure you've been putting things into your wish list, because now is the time to revisit those and actually say, have some of the things or items that I've put in there gone on sale? So that way, and do you still want them is another way of being able to cull through and identify, right? So I really don't want you going through this spiral of scrolling endlessly, then suddenly you've lost, hours of time that could be better well spent. So I would recommend, very similar to a technique that I use a lot, the Pomodoro technique, but set a timer, right? Dedicate a specific block of time that you're going to be doing some of this browsing so it doesn't take over your day. And the same would apply if you're searching for some gift giving as well. Treat it like a meeting. Put it into your calendar. Say, right, I'm doing my Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale now. So that way it's not dragging over periods of time. So, you really want to be able to get in there, get it done, and move on to the next thing, and make sure that those things that you really wanted have been added to the cart and checked out, and they're on their way to you. So, before diving in to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, remember that I want you to think about the wardrobe or style that maybe if it feels a bit outdated, that you want to do a bit of a refresh and realign with your style goals. Let me know, what are your top purchases or wish lists, and if you need some help in that space. And, most of all, really focus on quality over quantity and investing, using that as your timeless staple that maybe you've been looking at for a while now. And most importantly, before you purchase something, I want you to take a step back and think about, how does this support your brand, your vision for you? And, finally, I hope that you've been able to gather some hints and tips here. And if you do need some help along this journey, please feel free to book in for my brand and style strategy audit call. So that's a complimentary call that I offer in order to go through, well, where are the key elements of your brand and your style that may be the reason why you aren't able to kind of move forward, be seen, and identify what are those key pieces that really should be working for you right now. So there'll be details around that in the show notes below. So happy Black Friday, Cyber Monday, shopping, browsing, or gift giving, and I will speak to you all soon. Thank you so much for being part of this inspiring episode. If you found value in today's discussion, please don't keep it a secret. Share it with a friend on social media, tag me at Your Style Collective, and leave a review. Your support means the world. Join me again next week for another empowering episode of Style and Strategy, the Leadership Series. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, you're already taking that first step towards your transformation journey. See you next time.